So the title of this video is The Lonely Path of a Spiritual Warrior. Now this is a video that I've been meaning to make for a long time, and I think it's definitely timely that I should release it now, because of what we're going through globally. People feel isolated, especially when they push that word out there in the media, that this quarantine or this lockdown is an isolation. That definitely has negative connotations with it. And I think it's important to distinguish what it means to be alone and what it means to be isolated. I think they're two different things. I would consider myself a loner, someone who definitely walks alone in this path of life. And I don't think that's a negative thing, because there is so much that you need to learn about yourself, and then once you allow yourself to expand to where it's including everything, you're never truly alone. And there's so much that you can learn about self, and when you begin to learn about self, you will begin to learn about others. We live in a time where people are afraid to walk alone. People are afraid to be by themselves. They view it as a negative thing. And me, in my life, for the majority of my time, and I'm 23, I've had to walk alone, and I've grown to be comfortable in my own space. I can vibe on my own. I don't need to be around other people to entertain myself. One thing I found at university is people would just hang around others, even if the environment was negative. They would stick around people who just want to drink and smoke, and not have any conversations that actually impact your inner self. But people would stick around in those environments because they didn't want to be alone. So they would lower themselves and lower their standards just to be around other people. And that's so detrimental to your growth as an individual. I consider time alone as a time to step back from the world. There is a time when I'll reintegrate and I'll come back into society and involve myself. But I do regularly take time away from myself, and I do spend time alone. Constantly throughout your day, throughout your week, your month, you're around people, or if you're not around people, then you're on your phone. It's almost the same thing, and you're just watching other people's lives, and you never really get the time to just sit down and meditate. Meditation means just time to be alone in nature, time to be by yourself in silence. That's when God actually speaks to you. Groupthink and being in a group is very dangerous, especially when a lot of these people, they don't have anything new to tell you. They don't have anything that they themselves have downloaded from spirit to transmit onto you. They're just repeating programs, repeating other people's agendas. So being in large groups is very dangerous, especially when you don't know people's intentions. There are a lot of people who are energy vampires. They see that you got something good going on. They see that you're an intelligent brother or an intelligent sister. They see that whenever you're around, you just carry an aura about you. You have a certain type of presence that they haven't come across before. So what they do is they latch onto you. They're like leeches. They want to take your life force. So you definitely, especially in this time, have to be protective over your energy, because there are a lot of people who can't generate that energy for themselves. So they see that you have it and they want to take it from you now, right? There's a lot of that. There is a lot of that, and you see it in subtle ways. And I'm sure if you begin to analyze your circle, analyze your group of friends, you'll find that energy vampire somewhere there. you know but what I'm trying to say is that it's so important for you to get in your own space, create a space for yourself where you can reach a point of clarity, create a space for yourself where you can always come back to the center, right? If you only know yourself by being around others, and you don't truly know yourself, and it's possible to be lonely even when you're around other people. There are so many times when I'll be in an environment where I'm surrounded by people and I still feel alone. So being around other people doesn't make you less lonely. And I think true loneliness is when you don't know yourself, because that's when you're divorced from your inner being, you're divorced from God, you're divorced from nature, right? But you're still amidst all these people, you're still around all these people. That's true loneliness. So don't shy away from being alone. You know, I practice it. I practice walking in nature, sitting down and just staying beside a tree and just I talk to trees. I know that sounds silly to people, but you have to understand that once you go in the ground and your body dissolves, it goes into the soil and it eventually sprouts into this tree. It nourishes the tree. So you don't know how many ancestors, how many people, you know, are in this location. You know, I find that nature has this particular magnetism to it, and it draws me in. And if you're very silent and you know how to silence your ego, you can actually begin to listen to the voice of nature, listen to the voice of God. And you learn so much from being in nature about what this world is. This world isn't what you see on your phone. There's a larger world out there, and you're divorced from it when you always want to fit inside a group, because people don't think on that frequency anymore. And back to what I was saying about being in a group. If you're someone who feels unmotivated in your circle, or you feel like you're the only one bringing ideas, or you feel like whenever you're around your peoples, whenever you have an idea, they just shun it, or they just shut it down, and they just say, man, yo, you can't do that. Yeah, that's impossible. You know what I'm saying? Whenever you have a vision, right, and you get real excited about it, and then people just pour water over your fire. You know what I'm saying? Or they just just demotivate you. Get out of that circle. You don't need to be there. You don't need to be there. If your circle, right, don't nourish your idea, if they don't support it and say, yo, let's put two and two together and see how we can actually manifest this and make it come to fruition. If your circle of people are individuals who they don't aspire to do anything in life, then you need to get out of that circle. That's not a place for you. And if you can't find people who will support your vision, then you have to support it yourself. And the first step that you take is by taking the lonely road and doing what needs to be done to bring that vision to life. Right? I've always felt like I just innately had a mission on this earth. I innately felt like, I have an inner light. I have something that I need to share with people. Not in a biblical sense, not in a religious sense, but just in a naturalistic way. I just felt like there's something in me that I need to spread with the world. Now, if you feel the same, you feel like you carry a light within you, or you just feel like you have a mission, more time you do. But you need to protect that vision of yours. You need to protect yourself, because it's so important that you don't allow yourself to be distorted. You don't allow your thoughts to be distorted. You have to protect that vision and bring it to light. You can't let anyone on this earth, whether it's a close friend, a family member, a boyfriend, a girlfriend, you cannot let them get in the way of your vision and your mission on earth. That's if you feel like you're someone who's chosen. And more time, if you're a loner, then you probably are the chosen one, because you can actually take a step back from society and actually see it for what it is, and you can see the sickness, And that's been the story of my life. That's been the story of my life, and I've grown to accept it and see the beauty in it. There's nothing wrong with being a loner. There's nothing wrong with walking alone. So going back to the title of this video, the lonely path of the spiritual warrior is a lonely path. You cannot make others see what you see. And if you want to look at it from a scientific lens, then truly we all live in our own reality anyways, that we've constructed in our own minds. So it's impossible for others to see what you see. You and your closest friend, you're gonna have two separate visions. You guys might have a lot in common. Even with your wife, your husband, boyfriend, girlfriend, you might have a lot in common, but you're still an individual, right? You still came to this earth with an individual mission, with individual characteristics and traits, and even your whole DNA is telling a story that perhaps the next person doesn't have. So you need to find out what your personal story is. You need to find out what your mission is, why God sent you here, why you're having this sentient experience. So being alone is the first step to actually achieving that. Is the first step, towards that journey, towards that goal of understanding your true purpose in life and understanding your mission. And I'll just end off with this last thing I want to say. People come and go. All things change. Nothing is permanent. So what do I mean by that? People come and go. By that I just mean people will come into your life at different times to influence your experience and to teach you something new. But that person might not stick around forever. Right? Sometimes that's what God does for you. God will send certain people in your way to teach you something, or to put your life in a particular direction, or to open your world up to something new. And that's fine. But forming attachments, that's negative. Trying to attach yourself to a community, to a society, to a person, don't do that. Because you will often find yourself in a negative position if you try to do that. Because you can't hold on to anything. Everything changes. Nature itself is all about change. Evolution is all about change. Nothing is ever at rest, nothing is ever still, and you have to be comfortable with that. You have to be comfortable with the fact that things change around you. So then you ask, where is the point of stillness if everything's changing? But the point of stillness is within yourself, it's within your own temple, it's in your center. Your center is the point of stillness amidst all this chaos, right? So that's why it's important that you discover yourself. And discovering yourself is not by going on large treks to different mountains, different places, different countries. It's about just being still and just enjoying your own presence. Finding peace there. Finding peace in the silence, in the stillness. That is the lonely path of the spiritual warrior. And that's how I want to end my video. So if you guys like this video, please like, subscribe, share it. That's all appreciated. Yeah? Till next time.